up, YouTube? Kedris here. Talk about Nottingham Forest versus West Ham United. This game is going to take place at the London Stadium in London, England, and it's going to have a kickoff time of 3 p.m. for me, 8 p.m. UK. Now, both fan bases are coming into this match on kind of a low. We just obviously got tonked by Aston Villa 3-1, and they're on a losing streak almost as I think it's bigger than ours. And looking to sack Nuno Espirito Santos, if any of the news coming out of the West Ham camp is to be believed. Sean Dyche is also the target of a lot of criticism for a lot of Forest fans. And I think this match is going to be a 6-pointer for the relegation battle. Unfortunately, I think at this point we have to all accept that we've embroiled ourselves in the relegation battle this season. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe we could pick it up and end the season in the top 10, top 12. But I think at this point, we have to all accept reality that we're fighting to stay in the Premier League right now. So, starting with this lineup thing, I obviously got to talk about injuries. Based on last week, Chris Wood's still out, Ryan Yates is still out. Both of them not expected back until the end of January, early February. Willie Bali and Ibrahim Sangare are at AFCON. And Doy could have been back at the weekend, but ended up not playing. I think he could be on the bench for this match, but I'm going to assume that he's not startable. Callum Hudson-Odoi got a knock before the match on Saturday. He's available to start in this match on Tuesday. John Victor, I think his only injury is probably his shame. I think he'll be fine. I don't want people to misconstrue what I said about John Victor as me saying that he's a crap player. I think he's a decent squad player. I think he could provide quality squad depth, and he showed that he has ability in the Club World Cup and at Botafogo. I just don't think as of right now he's a startable goalkeeper in the Premier League. Moving on to my lineup, I'm going to stick with the formation that we played against Aston Villa. I think there's a lot of cool things that we could have done with it. We kind of played it in a very stale way. And there's some tactical tweaks that I would like to introduce that I dream about Sean Dyche doing, but know that he'll never do. And with any Forest team, you have to start a goalkeeper. I think the debate of Victor versus Sells has been put to bed. Matt Sells is the guy. He is the champ, and he will be the starter for the rest of the season unless he gets injured. Our center back pairing is pretty standardized at this point. Murillo, Milinkovic. I kind of went on a rant about Milinkovic in my last video, how the expectations for him are a little skewed on what he can do. I honestly think that he could work as a center back in like a back three if you had like Jair Cunha and Murillo. They're both kind of aggressive center backs, so they both can like push up and like make tackles, and they have that pace to recover. I just don't think that if we go to a back three, Jair Cunha will get the game time. I think it will be Morata, and Morata for me, in a back three is unplayable, and I'll explain why. In a back three, the outside center backs are expected to be able to go out more often and cover wing players. To be 1v1 with the wing player while you have the other center backs covering. So you're asking me to be okay with watching Murado go up against a winger and get done again. Like Milinkovic gets done 1v1, but Murado gets done brutally. Like it's not even like in the same realm of fuck up. So Murato in a back two, I think is perfectly fine because he's kind of protected in a back two, like because in the back two they're not expected to go out and win those 1v1s. They're kind of just expected to slow the opposition down and get into the box to prevent like crosses and whatnot in a back two. That's why I think Milinkovic excels at that as well, and that's why I think Milinkovic wouldn't be good in a back three where he's supposed to be the outside center back. I don't think that's his game. I don't think that's Murata's game, and they're kind of similar in the what type of center back they are. But I would be open to Murillo, Milinkovic, and Cunha. I think that could be really interesting and really attacking. Moving on to the left back. I don't know why Ina didn't play left back. I don't know why he was immediately put in at right back. Williams can cross the ball better. Murata is not Murata. Ina's not as good at defending as Williams right now. Right now. And I think him being with the right foot inside helps you defend. So I think that could really be helpful for him. Also, when going forward, I would like for him to be in those Nico Williams positions to take shots. But that's probably not going to happen. I'm a dreamer, and Sean Dyche is a killer of dreams. So we'll probably get these two switched, which sucks, but it is what it is. Playing the 6, I think Anderson can reprise his role. Can I spell? Andy can reprise his role as the 6. I think that's where he needs to be right now. I think he's making a lot of mistakes. He's not in very good form. And being in that 6th position kind of helps hide him. And what we really need right now is wins. We need confidence boosters. Confident boosts for everybody on the pitch, but especially for Anderson. I think he's suffering from that right now. And I expect him to get better at some point, but I think the 6, and even when he's in good form, is his natural position. I don't like how he shoots, and I think when we saw at the weekend Douglas Luiz come on and shoot, you understand why I want Douglas Luiz higher up the pitch and closer to the box. Speaking of Douglas Luiz, I would play him. I think we're going to have possession in this game. I think we need to create dangerous situations. And his first shot was crap at the weekend, but after that, they were all on target and all dangerous. I think he starts for me. I think he needs to be higher up the pitch. I think if he starts in the 6 where Anderson's at, I'm going to be very frustrated. Nothing I can do about this manager, but I would it's so obvious to anybody with half a brain who watches these two play that this is the way it's supposed to be. But whatever. Morgan Goods White scored a goal. That alone would make him get in my team. The fact that he's playing decently right now, he hasn't really lost the ball or messed up much, I think helps his case. Dominguez is a shout to start, but I think Dominguez lacks close to anything going forward. And I think Morgan Gibbs White, if anything, could at least dink a keeper. So he starts with me as well. And like I said, I think we're going to have the ball a lot. So I think these two can be really dangerous. For the wingers, for the right side, I want to start Bakwa because of his technical ability. I just think Hutchinson is offering more right now. And more importantly, I feel like Hutchinson can play 60, 70 minutes and be on it for 60, 70 minutes, whereas Bakwa kind of looks like he's still kind of like figuring it out and like paying attention. There's a lot of times during Aston Villa game where he kind of turned off or he didn't see a pass. I think a substitution for Bakwa, like at the 70th minute, I think he could come on and create a goal and create an opportunity. I think he could be a super sub for us. A player that got shuffled out of the lineup at the weekend because he got a knock, Kyle Hudson-Odoi. I think Sean Dyche has been pretty clear that he expects him back. I think he'll play. I think although he slows down play, we're going to have the ball more in this match. So I think this is the type of game where he can, with his technical ability, create, and he's not expected to be kind of like a destroyer on transition. So I think he'll be good in this match. I think you might even get a goal from him, I believe. As for the striker, I think we don't have any other option except Igor Jesus. Anybody who's making a case for Awani, I understand. He has the physical attributes necessary to be a big, strong center forward. But that's all he has. His technical ability is suspect at best. And I think Igor hasn't done anything wrong or anything egregious enough for me to want to not see him in the lineup. So this is my lineup.
If you need help, then dial your operator.
A couple tweaks that I want to talk about tactically, and something that I've noticed for a lot of the games lately, is that we are not creating space and opportunities for our wingers. A lot of the teams in the Premier League, the successful teams, what they try to do is isolate their highly technical dribbling wingers up against the fullbacks of the opposition 1v1. And for some weird reason, we refuse to do that. And it doesn't make sense to me. Now, what am I talking about? What am I talking about when I say isolating the center backs? When we played against Everton, I know this is kind of skipping over the Aston Villa game, but when we played against Everton, what I noticed a lot was the winger would get the ball. Like, say it's Callum Hudson-Odoi, and he would get the ball and he'd come over here and he'd be 1v1 with the fullback. Last season, Anderson or Williams would make that little inside run, would make that underlapping run to take away the 6 or midfielder that was right here, that would be sitting there for the opposition. Or that would take the winger and make them track back. And what did that do? That created space for the winger. That made him 1v1 and made it to where Hudson-Odoi could come inside more easily. And in that situation, create opportunities. And by doing that, what happens is a domino effect of, let's say Williams goes, the opposition winger goes with him. Hudson-Odoi comes over. Let's say the 6 for the opposition comes over and double teams Hudson-Odoi. Now you have Anderson up at the top of the box. So you Hudson-Odoi, you passes to Anderson. And now it's Anderson has to worry about what? What does he have to worry about? Nothing, because the 6, the winger, and the fullback have already been occupied by 2 players. So Anderson would be here and would get a shot, or would try to take the ball and dribble into the box and create opportunities. And I think what we're seeing this season a lot is that we're not doing that. I watched the Everton match, and I watched the winger get the ball, go up against the fullback, and Anderson, instead of making that underlapping run he did all of last season, stopped at the top of the box. Now, what does that do? It brings the winger down closer, and it makes it where Hudson-Odoi has to deal with the fullback and the 6 and the winger, and Anderson can be ignored because there's 3 people here. Hudson-Odoi can't make that pass. Now, what does that also create? That also creates the fullback stopping his overlapping run or stopping his run and having to sit there. And then what happens is we just pass the ball back to the fullback. What does the fullback do? He passes the ball back to Murillo. And so this creates a situation where we take the ball, we go up the wing. Okay, Hudson-Odoi is double team. Pass back to the fullback, go back to the center back, recycle it all the way across. And I think if we have these underlapping runs, and this is why I'm such a fan of this 4-5-1 formation, is I think what's going to end up happening is Anderson's going to occupy their 10 or whoever's the furthest forward. And you're going to see Dougie Luiz and Gibbs White make those inside runs easierly. Like it's more easy, it's more obvious, it's more evident. And what that's going to do is that's going to take away the 6s that sit there for the opposition. And once you make those inside runs, what do you get? Now, did that work out that way in the Aston Villa match? No. Why? Because we weren't making those runs. Luiz wasn't making that run. Gibbs White wasn't making that run. Actually, he did like once or twice. And that's when we got the ball in the dangerous positions is when he did that. Like Douglas Luiz would come up and he would stop. Like Anderson would go here and stop. We need to stop doing that. We need Anderson to sit at the top of the halfway circle. We need Murillo and Milivojevic to be on the halfway line. We need Gibbs White and Douglas Luiz to make these underlapping runs So Hudson-Odoi can come inside. So Hutchinson can come inside, create opportunities. And then you have the fullbacks who also can invert or make overlapping runs and put the ball into the box. We have two really good fullbacks. I mean, I don't know about Ina. He's been injured. But we have at least one. And we're not getting any utilization out of them. And it's a tactical problem. Because this is a simple, obvious solution and it's not being done. And it's the type of things that frustrate me about Sean Dyche. Is that like these obvious things are not happening. Like these are obvious instructions. Now, you could ask me, hey, why aren't the players doing it, just doing it themselves? Because Dyche yells at them. Like Savona, bro took the ball in the Everton match one time and didn't hoof it long, but actually tried to play a pass and got absolutely screamed at by this ginger freak. And when you have that kind of like authoritarian, like guy who wants to play just freaking crap ball from like 1968, like you're not going to get players that want to stick their neck out, especially when they've seen two managers come and go this season. And they're like, well, we can just wait for this manager to be fired. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. And another thing that really irritated me in the Aston Villa match is that these guys didn't track back with the fullback, and they need to do that. They need to track back, and what we need to be doing is when we get the ball, we need to be playing a pass inside, and then whoever's inside, whoever gets that pass when we get the ball back, passes to Igor Jesus. So what happens is you win the ball in the wing, okay, and once you win the ball, these wingers immediately bomb forward. You win the ball, pass it to one of these three midfielders. They pass it Igor Jesus, who comes short, who peels off the center back to get the ball. And then Igor lays off the ball to these wingers who are busting a gut to get up the pitch. And that's how you create counterattacks. That's how you create opportunities and space. And we have to put the fear of God, the fear of the counterattack back into the opposition. Because right now, what's happening is that the opposition is not scared of us counterattacking. So when we get the ball, two or three players will just come and surround one of our players because they know that this player is just going to try to hoof it long or pass the ball to nowhere. And it's just not going to work. So win the ball in the wing, pass it inside, pass to Igor. Igor lay it off to the wingers, and we have a counterattack. We have a chance. If we can't get anything from the counterattack, once we get in the opposition half, Igor at the box, make underlapping runs, create space for the wingers, create the space. It's like to me, these things are simple and easy to figure out, and I just don't real understand why we're not utilizing these simple kind of tactics to create opportunities and whatnot. But yeah. So that's my take on the lineup. What I would do, some tactical tweaks that I would put into place that I'm not seeing us do right now. It's a lot of frustration all around for a lot of the fans, and hopefully, with this Edu situation, apparently Edu's on the hot seat. We could be looking at a different change in managerial hierarchy. Would that affect Sean Dyche? Hopefully. What's my score prediction? What would I say the score is going to be? I think I'm actually optimistic. I think we win. I think we do. I think we play the same formation. I think the players are like, you know what? I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of these grassroots tactics. I'm going to go do something. I'm going to make a difference. And I think if you have the people that I listed, like Douglas, Louise, and whatnot in the lineup, I think they will create an opportunity and we will score. And I think the added emotional tension of it being against Nuno Espirito Santos, who kind of essentially abandoned us. I think we're going to get a reaction out of the players like they're playing the Big Six. And if we don't get a reaction out of the players like we're playing for the Big Six, and we lose this match, or we draw this match, yes, even if we draw, I think Sean Dyche has to go. I mean, I already want him to go, but I will be absolutely livid that he goes if we lose or draw this match. Anyways, that's what I got to say. Let me know what your score prediction is going to be. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe down below. Leave a comment because I like answering them. And like I said, I think we win. So come on, you Reds.